and against whom day one tomorrow. The lineups were announced by Captains McEnroe and Borg earlier today, and here's what we've got. We will start on Tennis Channel at 2 p.m. Eastern with the opener. Frances Tiafoe, fresh off his Davis Cup drama, takes on Grigor Dimitrov, then Jack Sock up against Kyle Edmund of Great Britain. And then in the night session, we'll have singles and doubles, couple of sub-6-footers as Diego Schwartzman for Team World takes on David Goffin for Team Europe. And then, how's about that doubles match? Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer against Jack Sock, who's only won the last two majors in doubles, teaming with Kevin Anderson. Here's Novak on making his Laver Cup debut.
Novak, welcome. Last year you were sitting back watching the Laver Cup, and it's great to have you involved. What's it like to be a part of Team Europe?
Thank you. It's great. It's very exciting. Watched it last year. It looked like an amazing event. Obviously talked with all the players that were part of it, and they said only positive things. They had a great impression, so can't wait for it to start.
All right, so there's Novak. Let's just talk about the matches tomorrow, guys. Which one? Let's start with singles. Which one? Because everybody's salivating over the doubles, right?
Exactly.
We'll get to that. Which singles match stands out for you, Paul?
I'm really interested to see how Francis does. You know,
yeah.
he played some really kind of gut-wrenching and heartbreaking tennis this past weekend in Davis Cup, but we saw a lot of, I think, maturation this year for Frances Tiafoe. He's played some terrific tennis, and to come here and be a part of this group, this environment, I think will be good for him. I think it'll be a good break, and it'll be a nice challenge for any of the matches. But in particular, after last weekend, to get back into something in a really positive frame of mind, it'll be fun to watch him.
You know, you never know when a player's spark returns, and something has to happen. And I think for the last few months, been waiting for Dimitrov. What is going on? He's only won 4 of his last 10 matches, kind of been on a slide. Will an event like this, where he's got the support of his teammates and he's playing indoors and he's got a captain, will that help him kind of find his game, find his confidence again? I agree. That is a big match against Francis to really get this event going, but also to see where those players are.
Imagine you're Francis, you're a top 40 player now, you have a rough loss in a team competition, you fly across an ocean, and you get 5 days later, you get to do this drill again. So interesting tennis currents. Can I take the easy one?
Sure.
Can I talk doubles?
Go for it.
Go for
I thought
it.
one of the great images last year, Federer Nadal, same side of the net. Here we have Novak Djokovic. He's won Wimbledon. He's won the U.S. Open. Now he's back in the GOAT conversation, and he's paired on day one with Roger Federer. And they're against Jack Sock. I mean, this is a distillation tomorrow of what is great about this event. You've got great matchups, you've got singles, you've got doubles, you have these strategic decisions by the captains. I think people wonder, well, why is this event so special? I think that schedule that you just showed, Brett, that's a pretty good answer.
I think it's great, obviously, for the fans. I get to come in tomorrow night and not only see the singles match, but also see Roger play doubles. It's great for Roger and Novak to also get some time out on this court before their singles. But a little surprised they put them the first day with only 1 point for Friday's winners. I mean, maybe they'll play again. But I think it's just great to get this event going with that exciting news.
So obviously, it's going to be very curious to see how they combine as a doubles team against a guy who's won a couple of doubles majors. But I would point to the Jack Sock singles match. And you asked the question, could this event be the spark that ignites Dimitrov? We could ask the same question about Jack Sock, who plays Kyle Edmund, a guy who sort of ignited his run at the end of last year in Paris.
Yeah, this is exactly what Jack needs, in my opinion. Remember last year the impassioned speech he got from John McEnroe on the court, and that kind of kick-started a pretty big end of the year for Jack. He's had a rough year this year. He's playing great doubles, but Jack, I feel, is the kind of player that needs a good peace of mind, good quality of life, a good happy feeling, and that's what this event did for him last year. I think the same thing can be the catalyst for the rest of the year for Jack Sock. And tomorrow night, playing doubles first, being really confident playing doubles first, even though it's against Roger and Novak, I think it's a great thing for Jack, and I expect him to have a big week and also a big rest of the year.
You come out here, too, and in some ways it has this all-star game feel, and Federer, Djokovic on the same side of the net, but you also get the sense that this is a real measuring stick for players. These are not matches you want to lose. These are results that stick with you. We talked about, I mean, Jack Sock is going to be your prime example of a guy who had the best 2 months of his career right after Laver Cup last year. You talk about the McEnroe speech. You talk about Jack went and played Kyle Edmund subsequent to that. Interesting that they're rematched here. I mean, this is the match. You can see it here. This is the Paris indoor after Laver Cup last year, and Jack looks like he's down and out. Again, keep in mind, a few weeks earlier, John McEnroe had given him that impassioned pep talk. Jack gets up, wins this match, continues winning, finishes the year inside the top 10. Go ahead, call it coincidence. I'll call it correlation. And Laver Cup really had this galvanizing impact on Jack Sock. So you'll see a lot of big names here. We'll talk about the rankings, but I think there's a real element of players want to do well here. This is not a show. This is not an all-star game.
I think it's also the environment and the players. If it's special to the players, it means a lot to them. I'm curious how the court and the surface, it's playing a bit slow, how that kind of impacts some of the results as well. I think that's actually good for Jack. Gives him a little bit more time to use his forehand to run around. We'll have to see how it maybe impacts Federer as the weekend goes on in singles. The U.S. Open court was playing a little slower this year. We know Fed likes it a little quicker, a little lower. So we'll see if that extends some of these rallies also indoors.
So a couple of interesting head-to-heads. Just the one previous meeting for Dimitrov against TFO. That was in Canada last month. Grigor won that in the third set tiebreak, and 2 meetings between Sock and Edmund split 1-1, including obviously the Paris match where Jack was down 5-1 in the third and came back to win. So all part of the backdrop as we lead into day 1 of the competition tomorrow.